Hello everybody, how is it going? So, today, more of the other preliminary tournament. We got Katakuri, he has Beji, Zoro, Shirahoshi, Pudding, and Hoodie Sleeve, and he is, 10 drop. And he is against a purple Luffy, but this should be round 2, probably technically a different amount in the tournament. I don't know exactly what place this would be, but I think there's quite a bit of Katakuri in this tournament, and I think the reason why is because 10 Mom is still pretty good against Sakazuki. It is a slower deck. It can play honestly kind of fast with attacking with brand news with Hound Blaze and stuff like that, but primarily it is a control deck, so it is slower, and that means 10 Mom is gonna be very strong, but that is not the matchup. We are playing into a purple Luffy, which I imagine purple Luffy does pretty good against because he plays a lot of good blockers. You have Eustace, you have Queen, you have the new Law. So, we have access to good blockers and just playing stuff early. Should be able to get out some pretty big bodies before we get 10 dropped, and then, it's just a matter of going for game. But here's the hand. I assume he's going to keep. It's 2 Laws, a Eustace, a Pauly, and a page 1. Doesn't have the ulti for the combo, but that's okay. I imagine whoever wins the dice roll will go second, and I'm pretty sure the little sign on top of Katakuri's life means that he's going first. I think I've learned that, so yeah. I guess a bit suboptimal for Katakuri, but good for Luffy. He does have the Pudding, though, which is definitely nice for when you're forced to go first. You can hopefully find a 7 Mom or maybe a 5-drop Vanilla just to kind of fill in that curve, make it a bit more playable. He does play the Pudding, sees a Brulee, and I think that was it, right? That was his only option there. And just passes it back. Luffy grabbing another page 1. Can't ramp this turn, so he is probably just passing it back. And yep. Katakuri doesn't have a Parasparrow right now, and I doubt he's going to hard play the Brulee. So either he's going to swing really big with leader, or do 2 attacks with Pudding and his leader. I think, yeah, goes for the Pudding. I think I like that more, because it almost guarantees they take a life, and they also don't get another card out of it, because they'll have to take 1 and then counter out of the second hit. Yep, takes the first life, finds, it looks like another Eustace, and then second 5k from leader will be met with a page 1, and just pass back. Luffy will be able to use his leader this turn, go up to 5, probably get the 5-drop Kid out, because that card is really good, works super well with Queen, works well with 9 Kaido, with Blocker Law. The card is just so good. I think that's of the new set, that it has to be one of my favorite cards. It's just works so well with all the purple cards. Luffy just attacking for 5. Katakuri will take a 1k. Looks like he's dropping the Zoro. Yeah, you pretty much just want that as a trigger in your life. You don't really ever play it. And then, yep, tapping 5. Getting the Kid blocker down. Luffy's definitely doing what Luffy wants to do. He has a Pauly for next turn. And then he just kind of wants to see a 9 Kaido. And then he's kind of just fit his curve. And then the rest of the game is just attacking and playing blockers. So we'll see if he finds the 9 Kaido or the 7-drop Eustace, either one. But I think you definitely want the 9 Kaido to really just accelerate the game a lot. But Katakuri on 5 Dawn does grab a Thunderbolt out of his top deck, so that is pretty good. Could just answer the Kid. You still are at 5 life because you opted to defend. And then just, yeah, go 5-5 again. You're still probably not playing that Brulee. Just don't think it matters enough. So yep, Thunderbolt's the Kid. Goes 3 Dawn on Pudding, attacks for 5. One of these swings will probably just be met by a 1k, and the other one will probably be taken. Yep, page 1, counter out of that hit. You can defend twice here, but I feel like going to 0, isn't the worst idea. So he defends both, fair enough. But you are against, yellow, so I kind of like trying to take all my life before I get 10 dropped, To be fair, if he has 7-drop, you can't really... I mean, I guess you could have gotten yourself to 0 very quick, but that just seems a little bit too early. But just goes 5 at leader. This will just be the poly turn. The pudding did get 2 attacks in, but again, they weren't... that's not really what Katakuri wants to do with his Dawn. It's, not terrible, though, because, just swinging at Luffy, or Purple Luffy, is pretty strong, because obviously they want to take their life. They don't want to really have to, take a life from a swing if they don't have to. I said a lot of halves there, my bad. But, yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. I imagine Katakuri is just going to keep on defending so he can play his 10-drop mom. These 5k swings, he has the 1ks for him, so why not just defend them? But plays down the poly, taps 2, pops the pudding, and ramps 1 Dawn. He could have played that before, but playing around a Thunderbolt trigger, that would have really sucked if you played poly and then got hit by a Thunderbolt. But Katakuri is now up to, should be 7 Dawn now. Doesn't have the 7 mom. Still kind of doesn't have a lot of great plays, honestly. I guess he could play the Shirahoshi. But swinging 7 with leader. Sees a Parasparrow on top of life. That's pretty good. Luffy just taking that hit. Picking up, looks like a 7-drop kid. That could be good. That could be good. Yep, playing down the Shirahoshi. Drawing 3. Looks like he grabbed another Brûlée. A 7 mom. Ooh, a turn too late. Very sad. And I can't see what the other card would be. But looks like he's going to discard the Brûlée and the 2 billion volts. Yep. So he has 7 mom, and damn, they switched right as it was panning over to it. I think it's the Sky Island 2K. That's what it looks like. The ball man. But Luffy is now at 10 Dawn. Doesn't have the 9-drop Kaido, but he does have 7-drop Kid. He might want to get the 5-drop Kid down before playing 7-drop, but I don't think it's the worst idea to play the 7-drop. To be fair, though, you do get punished pretty hard by 8-drop Katakuri, so maybe it is best to just go the double blocker turn. Does eventually find the ulti, but use both his page 1s as counter power. That would have been pretty strong here, just going really wide, just playing Kid, playing page or ulti into page 1, and then just attacking for 7-7. I think that's how the Dawn would have worked out, something like that, or 6-7. But just attacking for 6 with the poly, asking for a 2k. I imagine one of these hits will be taken because he knows it's a Parasparrow, so you kind of want to get your free body down, right? Maybe he also wants to hold on to the 7 mom because it did go first, so he's only on 9 Dawn next turn. Okay, so he's going to counter to this one, maybe take just the Luffy swing. Yep, so just 5 at lead. He does take, gets the Parasparrow, and yeah, I do think he's going to keep the 7 mom, probably just chuck one of the 2Ks. Yep. And yeah, I do think Luffy is going to go with the Eustace into Queen. Some good cycle as well, get to see 2 more cards. Maybe find a 9 Kaido if you're gonna need it. He might not even need it. He could just keep on playing blockers and just never play your 7-drop Kid, which is I don't think it feels the best, but it is something you could do. But is holding on to the 5-drop Eustace. I imagine you're probably doing that first before the Queen, because why wouldn't you? Yep. It's going to play down the Eustace. Then taps 5 for the Queen, minusing a Dawn, and then just going to get it back from the Kid, and drawing 2. Let's see what he finds. Looks like a 2k counter and a Magellan. That Magellan is probably gone. It's not going to be really impactful anymore. Can't really put him off the curve. And that's probably just a pass. So now Katakuri is on 9 Dawn. It's probably just a 7 mom and attack for 6-7. Just sounds like the best numbers. And yeah, I mean, pretty streamlined turn, I'd say. Going 6, and I assume just life. Probably just gonna ignore the poly. This will probably just be met with a 1k. Oh, I'm sorry, a 2k. It is going at life. Yep. Discards the missed double finger. Gonna go 7 again, checking his life. It's a pudding. He decides to leave it there. That is fair, but also like next turn you're gonna 10 mom, and then I feel like just the tempo of the game, playing a pudding means you don't get to 10 mom again. So like, what are you looking for in that scenario? I think you maybe just put it on the bottom and hope you get a trigger, but does play down the 7 mom. Luffy just trashes his life. That's fair. We have 2 blockers on board. We have a lot more blockers in hand. We're definitely going to start swinging with them, just because, I mean, what choice do we have? That's just our board. They're all 6Ks, and 6Ks are pretty efficient swingers, so we can't really complain. Probably just swing with an amount of them and replace them with the ones we have in hand. Katakuri still is on 3 life, though, so we definitely want to put him down to like 2 or 1 to try to be able to win through the 10 drop mom. It's like a little bit scary. I don't really know if Katakuri will have any other plays other than the 10 mom if they go too low this turn, because their hand is just that, and I think it's a 2k counter and a Paro Sparrow. So I mean, it's kind of awkward. We're kind of locked into just playing the 10 mom. Also, if Luffy has a way to -2 Dawn this turn, he could just take his last life with his effect, but I don't think he does right now, so a bit unfortunate, but it's alright. Just gonna go 6 at life. We're just gonna ignore the Paro Sparrow. We have plenty of 6k blockers, so Paro Sparrow does need at least 1 Dawn to swing reasonably. I imagine Katakuri, he could counter this. I don't know. No, decides to take it. Grabs the pudding. Yeah, defending this turn for Katakuri is definitely kind of weird, because you only have 4 cards now, but only had 3, and only one of them was counter. So yeah, definitely a bit tough. Luffy playing down the queen, minusing a Dawn, drawing 2. Sees another 7-drop kid and another Magellan. Discards the second one, ramps the Dawn back with the kid blocker. So he still has 6 Dawn now. He could play the second kid blocker, or he could just try to put Katakuri down to 1 life. Probably the better play. You probably just swing with lead and either the queen or the Eustace, and just try to put him to 1 or 0, so we can hopefully go for game through the 10 mom. Although if one of the lives is Thunderbolt, it gets a little bit sketchy, because then we only have 1 blocker. So it looks like I think swinging with leader first is correct, because if we swing with a blocker, it gets Thunderbolted, and then we literally just have 1 blocker, and that is kind of scary. To be fair, we could just swing with like 7, just 7 with the blocker, and if something does get Thunderbolted, we could just play the Eustace in hand and really just try to wall up. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a tougher decision. So I decided to go 1 Dawn on leader, attacking for 6. So yeah, fair enough. If we hit, some sort of trigger that interacts with our board, we can still play the Eustace blocker. Looks like it is a trigger. Not sure what it is though. A little bit scary. He's mathing it out in his head. I don't know if you guys go to locals or you're into the scene, just kind of on any card game. Do you guys always experience the people that like to tap on their mats when they're thinking? I always wonder how does that help? What are they calculating? That's always my curiosity there. I know one of my friends always does it, but more of a joke than anything. It's always funny. But definitely thinking about this trigger. Let's see what it is. It's a Sanji. Yeah, I mean, you were always activating that, because Paro Sparrow has no counter, right? Where'd that judge hand come from? That was crazy. Guest appearance. But Luffy holding the 5-drop Eustace. We're probably getting it down. Uses the rest of the Dawn. Opts not to swing with any of the other blockers. So we are most certainly living this turn. The Sanji was a pretty good trigger because it stopped us from trying to put him to 0, because Sanji would just block. And yeah, I don't know what else Katakuri is doing this turn other than 10 mom. You could like pudding into Katakuri maybe and then just heal, but isn't that just kind of worse than just playing 10 drop? Yeah, we're just playing 10 drop. We're locked in. So plays it down. Luffy trashing a queen off life. Katakuri healing. Katakuri swinging for 8 with the big mom. It's just going to be met with a queen block. And then the rest of the attacks would just be 5k. So Katakuri doesn't even bother swinging, because there are 3 more 6k blockers on the field. And now Luffy just pretty much has to figure out how to go for game. Which, it's definitely doable, 100%. The Sanji just kind of makes it a little bit awkward. He does have a poly in hand, but then like if you play the poly, you really put him on, have very little counter. To be fair though, you'd still have what, 7 or 3 Dawn left, so you'd have 3 7ks, a 6k, and a 5k. That is a lot to get out of, so that might be the play. It also might just be like swing 7, see what they do, swing 7 again, see what they do, because you still have, I mean, you have 5 attacks. It's still a lot. But we'll see what our Luffy player decides to do. I think in both routes, in playing poly and just attacking, there probably is a way to go for game. So we're just going to have to see how it works out. So after a little bit of thinking, it looks like we're tapping 5, playing down the poly, tapping 2, KOing the Sanji, and so now we just have 3 7ks and a 6k and a 5k. We're gonna have to hope that's enough. Triggers could be very impactful here. We're just gonna have to see what Katakuri hits. Just gets checked with the 5k to start off. We'll see if he wants to take that counter. You probably do, because you have 2 1ks. Yep, discards the Zoro. So next we're just gonna go 6k, and if he 2ks here, I think he just gets mathed out, because you go 7, you go 7 again. Do you get mathed out? I don't know. It's like still tough. This is really close. Okay, Katakuri takes that one. Doesn't get a trigger, gets a 7 mom. Okay. Alright, if he just gets no counter out of life, no trigger, this is just Luffy's game. We'll see. Gets hit with the 7. He can counter out of this one, but that just means the next 7 is guaranteed hitting you. And you hope that the last one is stopped by a trigger. So, yep. There goes the 7. Katakuri will take. No trigger, no counter. Luffy gets that. That is crazy. Gets a 10 mom and a 7 mom off life. And I don't think he ever bottom decked anything from life, so he didn't know those were there. But well played to the Luffy. Did that with no top end. Literally, I feel like he just played blockers the whole game. But blockers are good against yellow, so I mean, it works. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. There's definitely a couple more rounds from this tournament, and yeah, anyways, see ya.